Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And in this one, I want to talk about the biggest problems within the gaming industry as someone who's worked in it for over a decade now. So let's talk about it. Now, one of the biggest problems is there being too many cooks in the kitchen. And what I mean by that is too many people, too many departments, too many studios having their hands in a decision that needs to be made and not having dedicated ownership for those decisions. So yes, input is very important to a video game and certain aspects of that video game, but you don't need buy-in from every single person in terms of when something needs to go out, whether it needs to go out at all, or having the people all the way at the top make those decisions or make decisions to change things when you've already hired people for that. I've seen this many times at multiple places, not just gaming companies, but other companies as well, where there'll be people hired to make decisions and to do the jobs that need to be done. That's why you hire them, to do those specific jobs. And you have people coming in from up above all the way at the top saying, no, I don't like this, let's change this. Well, why are you hiring these people in the first place if you're not allowing them to be creative and make the decisions that they need to make the decisions for the things they were hired to be in charge of? I don't understand it, but I've seen it at multiple gaming companies, multiple tech companies, and I know this goes without saying, but if you're hiring a person to do a job, let them do that job. It doesn't make sense for you to meddle in every single aspect of every person's job and the things that they're working on to change the decision that's already been made or make a decision for that person or that team. In my opinion, it's unprofessional and it's unnecessary. You're hiring people to do a job, let them do their job. The next thing I've seen is, too many companies following the crowd. And this goes into monetization, battle passes, pricing for store items, and the type of game that the company is making. Instead of creating something new and fresh or just being creative in general, a lot of companies will go the route of doing something that has made other companies successful or made companies break out from maybe the games that they were making before, which were okay games, and games that were probably more creative and making them a little less profit, to games that are strictly about online connectivity and multiple forms of monetization. And I just don't get it. And the current trend, or the trend that's been going on for the last few years, has been free to play and online multiplayer shooters. So in my mind, a lot of these studios just need to get away from that, following the trend, and be creative, take risk, and not fall into the trap of always having to monetize every aspect of their game or add pointless monetization features and functionality for no reason. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Stop following the crowd and just do your own thing, and do things that you're actually passionate about, not what the shareholders are interested in or seeing what's working at other companies, because it's not the same thing. It's not necessarily going to work for your company. So be creative, do your own thing, and stop following the crowd. Now, another thing I want to talk about is profit over people. And this is happening at a lot of companies, mainly the biggest players in the game right now. You'll have a lot of companies laying off people, shuffling people from multiple projects that could be interesting to players into these large grand scale games that have a lot of monetization or are well-known IPs that do the same things year over year, or with every new release into the franchise at least. And it's upsetting because this goes back to the creativity thing, where you're not letting your developers be creative. You're just wrangling them up and putting them into a box of, hey, you're all here now to do this one thing because this one thing has proven to work for us. Instead of, hey, you can go off to that room, do your thing, you can go to that room, do your thing, and we'll have multiple opportunities to get great games out. And it's upsetting because I've seen this a lot and I've experienced this multiple times, and it just sucks when you're falling into the trap of, I'm working on this thing, or I want to work on this thing, but I have to work on this thing because that's what I was moved over to. Or the studio or studios are now focused on this one game instead of creating individual projects that could be exciting to players, or even give us more publicity, or make us more money, whatever it may be. It's just weird, because this goes back to not taking chances and not being creative and doing the same thing over and over. I feel like a lot of companies are scared, especially with everything that's gone on in the last few years, of massive multiple rounds of layoffs at multiple companies, studios shutting down. And I get it, like, you bet big on something, but you can't always be scared to bet big. You're gonna make a decision that's risky and exciting and creative. You know, sometimes it'll work out, and it's hard to put into words why a company really should just take a chance and go big on new creative ideas when a lot of them are scared to make less profit or have bad reception to a game. It just sucks. And I hope that a lot of these companies get around to just letting the creativity of their developers flow and not just falling into the traps of profit, greed, shareholders, and just let developers be developers. Like I said before, let the people that you hire do their jobs and don't just put them into a box of what, you know, the people at the top want them to do, because that's unfair to them, that's unfair to your studio. In the long run, it's just not going to work. People are going to be unhappy. You know, the company may or may not make more money just because you're doing the same thing over and over. But yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. It's just upsetting because I've seen this so many times working in games, even working in other tech companies, and those problems, you know, with greed and trying to make deals and trying to make more money and not putting your employees at the center of the company. Yeah, it just sucks. So hopefully this video resonates with some of you who've worked in games or tech, and let me know in the comments below if you've had these experiences before, how you feel like the games industry can bounce back, or specific studios can do new and creative things to get players to be excited or not fall into the traps of free-to-play battle passes and all that crazy stuff that goes along with it. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and catch y'all later.